Hey everyone, today I want to talk about Tiebreak, tennis game that's currently in early access. I have spent around 40 hours playing it, both in single and multiplayer, and I've had a blast. The gameplay is a real fun tennis experience, and the game has tons of potential. But, like any game in early access, Tiebreak has some areas that need improvement. So in this video, I'm going to highlight 7 things that developers need to work on to make Tiebreak even better. And hey, if you have your own suggestions for the devs, drop them in the comment section down below. Now, let's get into it. Let's kick things off with serving in Tiebreak. Improving serving should be the top priority for the developers. Right now, it's just damn boring. There's no risk-reward factor here. The serving system has a high skill floor, but a low skill ceiling. Basically, it's super easy to get your serve in, and you will often see matches with near-perfect serve accuracy from both players. But you can't make your serve more powerful by risking a miss. And because of this, serving feels bland and unsatisfying, especially against the computer. We will talk more about computer movement later, which could also help improve serving. Admittedly, it's a bit better to serve against human opponents, since they make mistakes and can guess wrong on the serve direction. Another thing is the strange zoom during the serve animation. Many players dislike it because I think it makes timing harder. I believe devs added it to make serving feel more dynamic. But instead of animation, I would rather feel the power behind the serve. Personally, I don't mind this zoom, but it should at least be something that we can toggle in the settings. Overall, serving is one of the biggest complaints about the game on forums and Steam reviews. So I would be surprised if Big Ant Studio doesn't change it before the full release. Now, let's talk about the animations in Tiebreak. For ground strokes, serving and volleys, Tiebreak's animations are really impressive. Players perform these shots smoothly, looking like they're real top players we all love. But some of the other player animations still need work. In Early Access 5, there are 2 types of animations that really bother me. First, the running to the net animation. It looks weird and is quite slow. When my player runs towards the ball near the net, it looks like they are running on a sandy beach. That's definitely not how top tennis athletes move. Second, the defensive play animations. These happen when your player is a bit late to the ball or out of position. The reaching and hitting animation feels abrupt and disjointed. The player's animation speeds up a little and it makes it look unrealistic and clunky. I hope they fix these 2 animations because the game already looks good in terms of graphics. The shot animations are neat and the player models are detailed and sharp. Well, maybe except for Medvedev, he looks like a goblin. Next up, let's talk about stamina and its depletion. Tiebreak has a stamina system in place, but I struggle to feel its impact on player performance. Right now, the stamina bar doesn't affect individual points. Instead, it focuses on long-term effects during prolonged matches. So, whether you play a 3-shot point or a 20+ rally, your player won't get tired during that specific exchange. Sure, stamina depletes slowly and adds up over the course of the match, but you won't notice your player losing speed, power or accuracy during long points. This takes away a tactical aspect of the game, which is a shame. There's also an issue with the long-term stamina effects. Most matches aren't just long enough for stamina to actually impact the result. So I would like to see this system improved in 2 ways. First, have stamina deplete during the point and then recharge afterwards, like it does in Full Ace. Second, make long-term stamina depletion more impactful even in shorter matches. You rarely play 5 sets to see players getting tired, especially in multiplayer. Moving on, let's talk about powered up shots not being strong enough. There are a few shots in the game that need more speed to feel impactful. Overpowered flat shots are a prime example. They are just not strong enough to offset the risk of missing them. This is especially a problem when playing against the computer. The CPU rarely makes mistakes with guessing shot directions, and on hard or expert difficulty, it runs like a madman, returning everything like Nadal did in his prime. There are a few ways to fix this. 1. Make overpowered or perfectly powered shots faster. Another option is to reduce players' movement speed. Or developers could add more error variance to the computer player's movement. The last option would be probably the best for keeping the balance in player versus player gameplay. Now let's shift our attention to how triggers work in Tiebreak. Currently in Tiebreak, you use the left trigger to sprint and prepare for a shot on the left side, and the right trigger for the same actions on the right side. Besides adding speed and forcing certain types of shots, animations, using triggers makes your shots more aggressive. But you can also hold both triggers at the same time. This gives you more speed than using just one trigger, while still making your shots aggressive. Plus, using both triggers doesn't force you into any specific shot type animation, which lowers your risk of making errors. So it begs the question, why the hell would you even use one trigger when you can use both? Holding both triggers gives you all the benefits of one trigger, and on top of that, more speed without the downside of forced animation. To win matches consistently, you end up holding both triggers most of the time. Seriously, I play 90 to 95% of my shots this way. This becomes tiresome and kind of pointless, taking away potential tactical depth from the game, and that's a problem. So perhaps you wonder, how could devs change it? Well, add more risk and reward to holding both triggers. Also, if they implement short-term stamina depletion, holding both triggers could tire your player more, leading to more missed shots in long rallies. The next area for improvement in Tiebreak is computer movement. Long story short, CPU-controlled players are way too perfect in their movement, especially on expert difficulty. They reach the hardest shots and always move in the proper direction. I don't mind the difficulty, but I would love to see the computer make some occasional actual movement mistakes. Developers could program them to misstep occasionally, hesitate sometimes, or perhaps gamble in the wrong direction. As it currently stands, the computer reaction time is perfect and they always move to the correct side. Furthermore, despite frequently sprinting to the middle, the computer seems to have no penalty to their movement momentum. On the flip side, when I sprint to one side and have to turn around because I made a mistake, my player gets stuck in the mud for a moment. I would love to see some variance programmed into their movement patterns. It's already good that they make some mistakes when shooting the ball, even on the highest difficulty. Just do something similar with their movement logic, to add realism and make them feel more like playing against real opponent. And lastly, let's talk about multiplayer matches getting sometimes interrupted. It seems like when your opponent leaves an online match, you just get stuck in the game. I'm not sure if it's temporary disconnect, the enemy leaving deliberately, or something else, but I've had a few matches where the game just stops with players standing there on the court after a point finishes. I couldn't skip it, and there was no notification of the enemy leaving or an error occurring. Just nothing happens. I had to leave the match and the game notified me that leaving would result in a loss. Funny thing is, the score later showed that I actually won, so I assumed the opponent left before me and I wasn't just notified. Another time this happened was during the opponent's serve. Their player just stood there and didn't serve automatically after 20 seconds like they are supposed to. It's really weird. It seems like the game lacks a proper notification system for online match status and doesn't have a code in place to handle these situations. So that's my list of 7 things I'd like Tiebreak developers to improve. I have highest hopes for changes to serving, as it's such a recurring complaint from games community. But I also wish for other improvements, especially to the balance in powered up shots versus the player movement. However, this is a very delicate area to mess with that can easily go sideways. By changing both, developers may completely destroy the balance in the game, so I think it would be the safest if they prioritize the movement part. How about your experience with Tiebreak? What changes would you like to see the most? Let us know in the comments section. Perhaps developers will come across this video and get our feedback. I am planning to cover Tiebreak and other tennis games in my upcoming videos. So, if you like this one and would like to see more content from me in the future, then make sure to subscribe to my channel. Anyway, that's all from me in this video. Thanks for your time and I'll see you in the next one.